Cloud. Recording in progress. Welcome, everyone. This is the last class of the semester of this experimental Circassian class. Today is December 15th. Who knows what takes place in December? It is a pagan holiday. I know I made a joke off camera about pagan holidays, but what pagan holiday takes place in December? Anyone know? Come off mute.
Christmas.
The Ragaza. Who knows what is the Ragaza?
Winter solstice.
Winter solstice. That's right. Winter solstice. And it's not a pagan holiday for us. We do celebrate it. We're just super happy that the days are no longer getting shorter. They're getting bigger. So the Ragaza is the sun, Razan, to turn around. So the Ragaza is when the sun turns around, or, we turn around the sun and the days stop getting shorter, they get longer. So that's winter solstice. So anyways, you guys can see my screen. All right. So let's everybody come off mute. Okay. We're going to reboot what we did last time where we went a little bit too fast. We know the scene, right? There's a story. There's a boy named Nart. There's me, the robot. There's you. So everybody come off mute. Everybody come off mute. Open up your mics. All right. So you guys have all chosen a character. Ahmed.
Janti.
Wawakhat.
Sas Yijinch.
Yiniz.
Sorry.
Yeah. Never say sorry. You're not here to be sorry. You're here to learn. Right? So it's okay to make mistakes. Whoa, Yiniz. The big old Yiniz. Yinal.
Janti.
Wawakhat.
Sasi raketas.
Whoa, raketas. Guardians of the Galaxy, raketam khodu. Hamra, raketam khodu.
Hawa, raketam khodu.
Raketam khodu. Yadirni raketa.
Anta.
Oh, nuclear.
Our Nebam.
He's a nuclear rocket. So yadirna is a Russian word that we borrowed. George.
Sit.
Wawakhat.
Sasa Terminators.
Oh, Terminators. Adigabs wopsatla our namits psatla honsta. Brandon.
Sit.
Wawakhat.
Sasa Kafakwa.
Wokafakwas. Zanshawa. Washa. Wawakhat.
Sasa Shumish Qualinch.
Wawashimish Qualench. Honsta. Yemiz. Washa.
Sasa Mishash.
Wawa Mishas. Misha. Honsta. Dua. Wawakhat.
Sasa Melish.
Angel. Melech. Like you got an itch. Melech. Hola.
Sit.
Wawakhat.
Sasa Roboch.
Wawa robots. Sarisa robots. Wasi ship robots.
2 robots here.
Albert.
Yeah.
Wawakhat.
Sasa Papslench.
What was it?
Papslench.
Tiger. Papslench. I'll call you Tony. Sarah.
Sit Janti.
Wawakhat si shapch.
Sasa Merwash.
Wawa melwash. Gary Potter mkwado. Like Harry Potter?
Nta.
Berzaj.
Sit Janti.
Wawakhat.
Sasa Magwash. Our Dowager para original at the Abzacha.
Oh, adi gabzacha. Kod bsatla di aqam. Khwema bstama jipafano sasa magwa paj.
Sasa Magwa Paj.
Khwema bstama jipafano sasa original magwash.
Arikhunch.
Yeah, khwema OG. مغوى.
ساسا أوجي مغوش.
أوجي مغوى. خنشتا. نور. سلسافر نور.
Oh, Noor is driving. He told me the same. Yep.
خنشتا. خنش. Okay. So everyone knows who they are. I spelled choose wrong. I just corrected that. All right. Ajadokwa. We know this slide. I'm going to spend 10 seconds here. All right. So we got a boy. What's the boy?
Narch.
Nart sit. Nart shala. Hamachajabs.
Alice.
Nart sit khoda thep. Thep. Who knows the word thep?
Like nation?
Nation.
Adigash.
Adigash. Nart adigash. Nart adigash. Okay. So we know that. Now we're going to slow down and we're going to play around with the story a little bit. Okay. So class.
Sit.
Shaler mapsasha. Shaler mapsasha. Sasopsasha. Sasopsasha. Sa. Wawopsasha. Shaler armapsasha. Armapsasha. Ooh. Okay. Class. Psashara. Not mapsasha. The Pej. Egyptstu. Sasapsashara. Sasopsasha. Egyptstu. Nur psashara.
Hawa.
Hawa. Nur psasharqam. Nur psasharqam. Sasopsasha. Nur psasharqam. Shaler psashara. Shaler mapsasha. Arpej. Shaler mapsasha. Shaler over ash. The boy stopped. Shaler psasharqam. Shaler psasharqam. Shaler psashara.
Hawa.
Shaler psasharqam. Ahmed.
Sit, Janti.
Egyptstu. Khat psashara.
Zidza psashar.
Khat.
Zidza psashar.
Zidza psasharqam.
Shaler psashar.
Shaler mapsasha. Sari mapsasha. Wawapsashara.
Ita sari sopsashar.
Wari wapsasha. Arpej. Brandon.
Sit.
Khat Egyptstu psashara.
Egyptstu. Wait, could you repeat that question?
Khat Egyptstu psashara.
Egyptstu wapsashla.
Arpej. Sasopsasha. Wawapsashara.
Nta. Sasri sopsashla.
Pej. Wawapsasha. Egyptstu Ahmed psashara.
Hawa. Egyptstu Ahmed psalshirkum.
Pej. Egyptstu Ahmed psasharqam. Pej. Inal.
Janti.
Egyptstu Brandon psashara.
Nta Egyptstu Brandon psasha.
Hawa siqash. Egyptstu Brandon psasharqam. Psasharqam. Khat Egyptstu psashara.
Sari wara.
Sari wari dizopsasha. Wawopsasha. Sasopsasha. Arpej. George.
انت جانتي
Shaler psashara.
انت عالم مبساشة
طب shaler mapsasha. Wawopsashara.
انت سريس بساشة
Arpej wari wopsasha. Egyptstu zanshawa psashara.
Hawa Egyptsto Zanshawar
Zanshawa?
Zanshawar Sasharpam.
Ay. Zanshawa. Mazapsasha. Wawapsasha. Zanshawa. Turn on your mic. Turn off the mute.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Egyptsto wawapsasha.
I am now, but before Hawa.
Okay, so Qaja'a, tell me. Egyptsto khatpsasha.
Egyptsto Sasopsacha.
Arpej. Egyptsto wawapsasha. Egyptsto George psasha.
Hawa, Egyptsto George Mupsatlerkum.
Egyptsto George psasharkam. Arpej. Yemiz.
Sit.
Shalem yitzarsit.
Shalom Yitzar Narch.
Nart wuris.
Wuris. Sit Wuris.
Russian.
Hawa. Nart Adigash.
Nart adigash. Nart psashara.
Nart Psasharkam.
Nart psasharkam?
Oh, Nart.
Ajwi?
On the screen.
Yeah,
Shalom
Pej.
Psasharkam.
Pej. Stand your ground. George, you have a question.
Yeah, so Zanshawa is Zanshawa's name. So is it Zanshawa? Is that the sh thing or
Zanshawa.
is that okay? Zanshawa. Okay, yeah. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Dua.
Sit.
Dawushit.
Kharzin Shwapsa.
Wawa adiga.
Inta sa si adigash.
Saris adigash. Nart adiga.
Inta nart adigash.
Egyptsto nart psashara.
Hawa nart psakharkum.
Pej. Egyptsto nart psasharkam. Perfect dua. Perfect. Ola.
Wapsa. Sit.
Egyptsto dua psashara.
Egyptsto dua psatarkum.
Khat Egyptsto psashara.
Egyptsto saso psata wari wapsata.
Pej. Wawo psasha. Sari sopsasha. Adert.
Janti.
Wari wapsashara.
Yes, Egyptsto Sasopsasha.
Wapsashara. Khat yijiri Egyptsto psashara.
Wawapsasha.
Nart Egyptsto psashara.
Oh, Arpsasha.
Hawa Egyptsto arpsasharkum. Wapso. Sara.
Sit, Janti.
Egyptsto Albert psashara.
Hawa Egyptsto Albert Psatlerkum.
Pej. Egyptsto Albert psasharkum. Sasa psashara Egyptsto.
Inta Egyptsto Sasa Psatla.
Wawo psasha. Pej. Sari sopsasha. Wawo psasha. Sasopsasha. Pej. Berzej.
Sit Janti.
Sa Egyptsto sit khoda bzaj asapsashara.
Egyptsto Diabs Chopsasla.
Pej. Sa Egyptsto adigabzaj asopsasha. Okay. So
John.
everybody's feeling comfortable. I didn't hear any mistakes, honestly. 100% across the board. Brandon, you have a question?
I guess I just realized I think Sarah had misinterpreted your question.
Mhm.
And in that case, I would have tried to repeat the question.
Mhm.
And then if that doesn't work, then just kind of translate like what I was asking was, so forth and so on.
Got it. I've been re-listening, re-watching the TPRS training videos.
Mhm.
And when so Sarah, you're right, Brandon. So I asked you, are you speaking? Or I asked you, am I speaking? And you said, yes, I am speaking. I, Sarah, am speaking. And it's funny because I was re-listening to, I think like class number 5, which is about error correction. And part of TPRS is we never correct errors. We only correct comprehension. So if you say I is speaking, we're not supposed to correct that because it goes down to your confidence. But if we clarify your comprehension of what the story is, that's okay, because you're an intelligent adult. Your ego can take, oh, I misunderstood the story, but you're a learning Circassian speaker. So we want to correct the content, correct the understanding, not correct. So when she said that, Brandon, I was like, oh, what do I do here? What do I do here? So
no, I realized that I mixed up sa and wa. I always tend to confuse those two.
So it's interesting. What that means is that you have not yet contextualized it enough where it's still an abstract sound for you. So through more conversation, it'll become more of a concrete, like sa is me, what is you, right? Yeah. It'll be more concrete as we go through more speech. But everybody, honestly, A- to A+ across the board, nothing lower than an A-, nothing lower than an A-. So good for you guys. Okay. So what does the word sichhacha mean? What does it mean?
Why?
Why? So let's pick this word apart. Sit. What does sit mean all by itself?
What?
And how do we say head?
Ha.
Ha. And what does the suffix cha mean? With, by means of, or with. Okay. So I have no idea why, but when Circassians say why, they say with what head? Why head with? So maybe we're asking like, where's your head at? Why are you thinking that? Right? So class.
Sit.
Fafageira. Coffee fefenque. Class.
Sit.
Schaler. Sichhach upsashara. Why is the boy speaking? Schaler. Sichhach upsashara. And I'm going to teach you two very simple verbs. Okay. Now, I want to be very clear for anybody who's watching. I'm not teaching you anything wrong. I'm teaching you something simple. Okay. So instead of going through all the verb tenses and everything else, all right, if I ask you, why is the boy speaking? Why are you speaking? Why am I speaking? There's two very simple verbs. We'll get to them eventually. They have very, very simple conjugation. The boy wants to speak. Whish. You can just ask it. You can just say, whish. Schaler whish. Schaler whish. If I ask you, what's sichhach a wapsatra? Whish. Because I want to. Whish. Right? And if you like to, this is a simpler, it's pretty similar to sigro, which is big. Sfafsh. Fafsh. Schaler fafsh. Schaler fafsh. The boy likes to speak. So he wants to speak, he likes to speak. Okay? So, class. That's subsatra. Sichhachra. Wish. Fafapsatra. Are you guys speaking? Sichhachra. You guys like to speak. Who knows how to say someone's a real talker? Oh, that guy's he's a real talker. Who knows how to say that?
Yemiz psachare.
Psacharesh. Yemiz psacharesh. So following that same logic, if somebody really likes to dance, which is also yemiz, how would we say he's a real dancer? Afaresh. So we take the verb form. But that's exactly right, Brandon. But we take the verb form. Psacharesh. So I joke with my son. He's a little farter. I say, whoa, akhoresh. You're a real farter. Or my daughter, she loves to eat. Whoa, shkaresh. You're a real eater. Right? So you add re to any verb, and it makes it somebody who really likes to do that. Okay? So, class. Ş'aler adigabzıç'a mapsatla. Ş'aler adigabzıç'a mapsatla. Ş'aler ورسبزتش بساث رقم ورسبزتش بساث رقم شعالر تركبزتش بساث رقم شعالر حرببزتش بساث رقم شعالر ينجلبزتش بساث رقم. Okay, so the way that we make a language, we take the nationality, as we would say it. We take the nationality. So Russians are wurs. English people are yinjiliz. American people are American. But we don't say American. Nobody in the world says American language. We all say English language, right? Now, of course, Armor is not here today. Those of you who speak Arabic, we do not have ayn in Circassian. We do not have ayn. So we don't say Arab. Instead, we say Harab. Okay? So we take the nationality, and then what does the word bza mean all by itself?
Language.
Language. That's correct. How do we say tongue?
Bzog.
Bzog. Bzog. How do we say heart?
Gua.
Gua. So let's think about the word for tongue. What do we think the word for tongue means? Bza.
Language heart.
Heart of the language.
Heart of the language.
The tongue is the heart of the language. Bzag. Okay. So to say the language of a nationality, we say the nationality, we say bza. So Russian tongue, wurisibza. And then if we say we're speaking in that language, cha. Inal, это по-русски, не русский или по-русски. So it's the same type of thing in Russian. So what is sibzacha? So class Ş'aler yecibsto yinjilibzacha psathra.
Oh.
Hawa.
Hawa.
Adigabzacha. Mapsatla.
Sitkhwadabzacha psathra Ş'aler.
Ş'aler adigabzacha mapsatla.
Ş'aler adigabzacha mapsathla. Ş'aler turkibzacha psathra.
Hawa.
Hawa. Ş'aler turkibzacha hama adigabzacha psathra. Pej. George.
Sit, Janti.
Wa wursibzacha wapsathra.
A little.
Duck. Duck sopsatla wursibzacha. Wa harpibzacha wapsathra.
Subsasha.
Wa yijibstu harpibzacha wapsathra.
Hawa, Egyptu, Hawa. Awa, sa, harapabzacha, subsachaf.
Wapsathra.
Okay.
Khunsta. Inal.
Janti.
Wa harpibzacha wapsathra.
Hawa harapibzacha sibsathlikum.
Wa yijibstu yinjilibzacha wapsathra.
Hawa yijibstu adigabzacha sibsathlim.
Yijibstu pej, yijibstu wa adigabzacha wapsathra. Awa wa yinjilibzacha wapsathra. Pejqa?
Nta yinjilibzacha sibsathlim.
Ahmed.
Janti.
Wa turkibzacha wapsathra.
Hawa sa turkibzacha sibsathafkum.
Ş'aler adigabzacha psathra.
Da ş'aler adigabzacha mapsatla.
Wapso. Brandon.
Sit.
Ahmed turkibzacha psathra.
Hawa. Ahmad Torkibzacha Salhurkum.
Pej. Ahmed تركب زتشا بسالركم و تركب زتشا وبسالرة براندن
هوا ستركب زتشا سبسالركم
هاج وتركب زتشا وبسالركم فددة زانشاوا
Sit.
خت يجيب ستو بسالرة
Egypt's two adigabzicha subsahla.
هاج ويجيب ستو أديجاب زتشا وبسالرة سري سبسالرة 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 أديجاب زتشا
Nita wa adigabzicha wubsahla.
هاج وبصو أديجاب زتشا سبسالرة يمز
Sit.
زانشاوا حرب بزتشا بسالرة
Sharkam.
أبي وبش ask him
Zanshawa. Harabibzitcha. Wupsasara.
Hawa saharabibzicha so wait, not able to.
just say you don't don't worry about don't able to.
Okay, but we do know how to say that.
Yeah, but I overreached when I tried to teach you guys that like 2 classes ago.
Would it be so psathlafarkam?
Sipsathafarkum. Sipsathafarkum. Pej. Good call.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yamiz.
Sit.
Dua ورسبزتش بساثرة.
Sharkam.
Abiya whoops. Ask her. Abiya whoops.
Dua.
Sit.
What is Sibzitcha? Wupsasha.
Hawa sa subsaha adigabzicha.
Pej. Wa ورسبزتش وبساثركم. Wa adigabzitch وبساثر. Dua.
Sit.
Ola حرببزتش بساثرة. How do we say I don't know? Do you know how to say I don't know?
No, not really.
Okay, so let me put this up here for you guys. To say I don't know, we say أرقم. Second here. Oh, too small. How big is this? This is 24. Okay. So to say I don't know, we say سأرقم. I don't know. سأرقم. Okay. سأرقم. You did it really well. So dua.
Sit.
Ola حرب بزتشا بساثرة.
Sharkam.
Sharkam. I don't know. So when I say abiya whoops, it means ask her. So abiya whoops, ask her.
Ola.
Sit.
Wo wupsach haribsacha.
Sa haribibsicha sobsatha.
Oh, ola harabibzicha mapsatha. Ola wa wursibzicha wupsathra.
Hawa with a subsicha sobsatharkam.
Dua harabibzicha psathra.
Anta dua haribibsicha wupsatha.
We've ashkhura. Are you sure?
Hawa.
Abiya whoops. Ask her.
Dua haribibsicha wupsatha.
Ta.
I told you.
But not fluent though.
Dua. Wa harapibzitcha wupsalera.
Can you repeat that?
Wa harapibzitcha wupsalera.
انت سا سبساها حربزتشا.
Wow harapibzitcha wupsalera. Pej. Ola.
أنت
Wa ورسبزتcha wupsalera.
حوا سا ورسبسج سبساترقم.
Albert ورسبزتcha wupsalera.
How will subject subsathram?
Albert. Ola turkibzitcha wupsalera.
Shalom.
Abi whoops.
Hola. What was the language? What was it, Russian?
ورسبزتcha.
Hola. What would a subject warm up Sattler?
حوا
What up Sattler? What up, yeah.
وبساعتكم ورسبزتcha.
What's the sorry? What's the
Are you laughing at me?
no? What was the
Miz is
language again?
messaging her secretly. That's what it is.
No one's texting me. No one.
Yeah. I believe you. Sure.
What was the language again that we're talking about?
Hola.
Russian.
What would a subject what Sattler?
How would sorry, we're such as subsatricum.
Okay. What is sibzitcha wupsatrakum? Brandon, you have a question?
That leads me to, again, how do you say talking to somebody? So how would you say, yeah, Ms. is talking to Ola? Or speaking to Ola. What would that make? Could you do the same one?
Yeah. Yemiz Ola yiripsatla.
Ola yiripsatla.
Yeah, we haven't got, so this is why I'm sort of adapting TPRS for Circassian. We have 12 different verb forms. We've got 5 different verb tenses. We've got 7 different verb moods. And so the reason I'm doing this on the screen is we can't just say I'm talking to. We would say zripsata, zrepsata, zropsat. Like there's tons of different ways to do it. The prefixes always change. But Yemiz Ola Yiripsata. Or Yemiz is which I know he's not, but maybe he is. So
Albert was talking to me, Brandon, so you could say that.
Albert Ola Yiripsata.
Okay. Albert. What would a sibzitcha wupsatera?
Oh, so would a subject subsathram?
Sarah would a sibzitcha wupsatera?
Oh, Shalom.
Abi whoops.
Sarah, what would a subject what up Sattler?
Hawa
Whoa, super aggressive there. Let her answer first.
What is sibzitcha subsatlarqum?
Pej, wa would a sibzitcha wupsatlerqum? Wa adigabzitcha wupsatlera? Sarah?
Sa adigabzitcha subsatla tiq.
Wupsatler. Tauk. Such hacha.
Why do I speak Circassian?
Yeah, such hacha.
Because of your class.
Oh, because you want to, or because you like to?
And how do you say it again? Fafsh.
Safafsh. I like to. Safafsh. Okay. Clinch. Berzej.
Janti.
Wa kitayibzitcha wupsatlera?
Awasa kitayibzitcha subsathafram.
Brandon kitayibzitcha wupsatlera?
Arsh arqum.
Abi whoops.
Brandon wa kitayibzitcha wupsathafra.
Kitayibzitcha?
Chinese.
Nta sa kitayibzitcha Subsatler.
Can you say that in Chinese slow?
Kitai, Kitayibza, Kitayibzacha.
Okay.
Kitai. Kitai is China. Kitai are also the Chinese. Kitayibza is Chinese language. Kitayibzacha in the Chinese language. Ola, you have a question?
Yes. So Birzich said psafira. Can you say that again? And is that the way to ask the question?
So, yeah. So again, there's lots of ways that we can say these things. And I think I overshot a few lessons ago. So some of you remember this, which is great. Some of you have not really been exposed to this, and some of you speak Circassian relatively well. So when we say I speak, do I speak? So that prefix changes, right? But there's a couple of different I'm not sure, moods. There's a couple of different flavors. I'm not a linguist. There's a couple of different flavors of verbs. And one of them is, are you able to? And this is one of the few things in Circassian that has no exceptions. I can honestly say there's zero exceptions to this. Now, someone's going to see this on YouTube and be like, there's a verb that, no, there's no exceptions to this. If you say, can you do something? Okay. We understand that. We feel comfortable with that. We just add an F before the R. And we do this for you, me, he, she, it, they, them. We haven't covered they, them, you plural, but it's universal. Are you speaking? Are you able to speak? Are you reading? Are you able to read? Are you dancing? Are you able to dance? Right? So it's universal. It's universal.
All right. So
I'm just curious, who here knows how to say, if I'm able to speak? Or if I speak. Ahmed, go ahead.
Is it sasipsashama?
Correct. This is another universal thing. Sasipsashama, if I speak. Sasipsashama, sasaqafama, if I dance. Sasejafma, if I read. Sashkima, if I eat. Right? So the ma, it's universal if I do it. And so, Ahmed, how would I say if I am able to speak?
If I'm able to speak, isn't it sasipsashafma?
Yes, you can combine these. Sasipsashafma, if I'm able to speak. If I'm able to come. Sasaqaqafma, if I'm able to come. Sasaqaqafma, I'll see you. Right? So just keep that in the back of your mind. You may hear me throw it out every now and again, but it's universal. All verbs, all forms, all styles. The f, are you able to? Ma, will you? Are you able to? Fama. Okay? So you asked, so I'm answering. Okay. So let's continue on. Yes, Yinad.
Waiting for the end. So I had a question about the m prefix, because I sometimes see you use it, sometimes see you not use it.
Who, me?
So, well, not you particularly, but in the slide. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. So in the previous slide it was.
You might be, it's not in these slides. You might be thinking of mapsasha.
Yes, mapsasha. Okay. But if you say not speaking, then psasharqam.
Yes. So let's go here. You asked, so I'm going to answer.
Yes.
If I say I speak, I say saso psasha,
yeah.
Wo psasha, ar ma psasha.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I ask, the question form, these prefixes change. So psatla becomes sipsatla ra, wa psatla ra. So these prefixes change, and then the ma gets dropped. So my 7-year-old son doesn't make this problem. He does not make this mistake anymore. My 4-year-old daughter, she still makes this mistake. And, you know, because it sounds obvious, like, like it even hurts my ears to say it, but it sounds, there's nothing obvious about it until you learn it. Yeah. So that's why sometimes you hear it in and you hear it out. So when you ask the question form, in all verbs that I am aware of, where ma is the third person singular prefix, we drop it in the question form.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then when we do the negation form follows the question form, except the ra becomes urqum.
Yeah.
Concept is clear?
Yep, I hope so.
George.
Yeah, there's something I find really interesting about what you said about your son and your daughter, like who used to say because this happens in I think in all languages, like even in English, when children are really, really young, they start off by saying I goed instead of I went.
Yes.
And that's because it makes sense. Like it's logical that you would conjugate, you know, because if you learn the rule of the past when you're a kid instinctively, you start to overextend it to everything because it just makes logical sense. Like where's the logic in saying I went, right? Instead of I goed, like you would say like, yeah. So it's the same thing in the Circassian, like, because the logical rule in general is to put was something to say you do something before the bare form. So it would make sense. And that's why kids do it, you know, until they get used to hearing something else more from adults. But yeah, that's it. It happens in all languages.
You're absolutely right. And so I think in applied linguistics, the concept is called generalization of grammar. So
or more like overextension, but yeah.
Overextension, yeah. So what happens is people will overextend a grammatical rule to all grammatical cases, right? And I'm going to stop using the word grammar. I don't want this to be about grammar because it's not about grammar. The point that I'm trying to make to build on your point is there is a view in applied linguistics and in language learning, which are kind of mirror. Linguistics is not the same as language learning, but applied linguistics is the mirror image of language learning. There is a view that there's no such thing as making mistakes. There is only stages of learning, right? And that's why in this class, I'm very adamant. You should never apologize. You should be courageous and you should be proud that you are making the efforts to make these mistakes. You're making mistakes, but you're not making mistakes. It's not like you have one leg and you can't run, right? You're making mistakes so you can learn, right? So I'm going to illustrate this point right now, and I'm going to call out Ola just because I know she can do this. So Ola, the verb for to want is quish, right? We covered that a couple of slides ago. So how would you say I want? You, Ola, as an individual, you want, tell me, Janti, I want. How would you say that? Correct. So you know what? You just learned a grammatical rule, which is that in many, many, many verbs, not all, but in the majority of Circassian verbs, there's a prefix that goes before the verb, which is for you, si. Because I did not, let's go back to the slide. Let's go back to the replay, right? I did not teach you any rules, but you figured it out on your own. Now, how would you say you want? Like you're talking to a third person, you're talking to somebody else. You say you want. How would you say that, Ola?
Wish.
Correct. Absolutely correct, right? So that's the generalization or the extension of the rule. In this case, and again, the rules work 80, 90% of the time. So that's a general principle. There's no such thing as making mistakes. There's only such thing as learning. Okay. All right. So let's go on Class,
Sit.
Sit.
what does the word sitshoa mean?
When.
When.
Those are
When.
there. When.
When. Okay, sitshoa. What does when mean? I'm sorry.
At
What
time?
does sit mean?
What?
What? Okay.
What?
Now here we have a suffix. Roi. Roi almost always means 98% of the time, it means the time of. The time of. Ahmed.
Yes. Sit.
I'm sure you heard in your life your dad say, I have to go make afternoon prayer.
Namaz shura.
Namaz shura, it's time to pray. Shajawa.
Shajawa. Yes.
Shajawa.
Yeah, that's right.
Shajawa. For any of us who have fasted during Ramadan, shkawa. Shka, to eat. Wa, time of. Shkawa. My mom, since I was like, you know, I didn't grow up speaking Circassian. My parents never taught me, but I always remember, shkawa asash. It's time to eat. I knew that. I knew what that meant, you know, shkawa, right? So wa means time. Anytime you see sh, well, 9 times out of 10, when you see sh in any Circassian word, it signifies a place or a location. I'm sorry, a place or a time. So Einstein says that space and time are the same thing. This is how smart our ancestors were. We knew space and time were the same thing. Okay. So when we say sit shura, what? Shura, time or location. But here it means time. Okay. Sit shura. So now here we're talking about when does the boy speak? When does the boy speak? And right now, who knows what's the word for right now? Yijipstu. Okay. So I'm going to throw in a few other words here, and we're going to play with this verb a little bit more. And let me know if this is too many words. Sitem deji. Sitem deji. All the time. All the time. Sitem deji. Zezamiza. Zezamiza. Sometimes. Zezamiza. Sometimes. Quadra. Quadra. All right. So I'm going to try to think of something. Who watched He-Man as a kid? Who watched He-Man? Yeah, communist, you know, I know. All right.
I watched some.
Okay. What was the name of the major villain that He-Man
Skeletor.
Faced? Skeletor. And in Thundercats, you watched that?
I did. A little bit.
What was that main character? The evil character?
I don't remember.
Mumra.
Yeah.
Remember Mumra?
Yes.
So Mumra would always turn into the evil guy. So Mumra, Quadra. I don't know if this helps you guys. It helps me.
Quadra.
Okay. And then somebody in the Saturday class, how do I say never? Ze. Ze. You know what, Inal? All the Soviet men were He-Men back in the day. Just like Putin today. He's a He-Man. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So my daughter, the moment she's a drama queen, the moment I do something she doesn't like, Baba, sa ze afacha. You're never, ever gonna play with me again. I'm done with you. That's how she talks to me. Ze. Okay, so ze means never, never. Okay. So class.
Sit.
Sit.
Class.
Sit.
This is where I get my energy, guys. Okay. Sa yijipstu adigebzach asapsachara.
Yeah.
Who knows how to say of course?
Dawich.
I see. Oh, that what the hue. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
You asked for it.
All right. I did ask for it. So let's put up here Dawich. Hang on a second. Dawich. Give me a second here.
Can you pronounce the word for when again? As well.
Sit sure. Sit sure. My son is a funny guy, just like his father. Or he thinks he's a funny guy, just like his father thinks he's a funny guy. So he puts on this like fake accent when he speaks. I'm like, and I say to him, whoops, do you want to eat? Of course. He puts like this, of course. He doesn't speak like that. Of course. Of course. Right? So, all right, let's go back. Class. Sa Egypto adigabzacha subsahara. Which Sa Egypto harpibzacha subsahara.
Hawa.
Sa ze subsahara kam harpibzacha. Ze. Like my little 4-year-old daughter. Okay. Albert.
Yeah.
Wa zazamiza harpibzacha wabsahara.
I know a few words.
So, zazamiza, tell me sometimes you speak Arabic.
Zazamiza said the Gavin Kissam Absasha.
Harpibzacha.
That's what I said. Harpibzaka. Harpibzaka, same thing.
Okay. Well, you said adigabzacha before.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Inad, what's your question?
Just now you said double negative. Is that a thing?
I didn't say sepsahirqam.
Yeah, but you did say a double negative. Is that a thing that we should look out for?
No, it's not like Russian.
Okay.
No, it's not like Russian. I know Russian likes to use double negative. No, we don't do that. Sarah.
Janti.
What adigabzacha wabsahara?
Anta sa adigabzacha subsatla.
Wa quadra adigabzacha wabsahara.
Hawa sa adigabzacha subsatla zazmiza.
Zazamiza. Wa zazamiza adigabzacha wabsahara. Okay, halamach. What does it mean, halamat?
Interesting.
Same as the Arabic word. It comes from Arabic. Okay. Barzaj.
Janti.
Wa sitimdeji kitayibzach awabsahara.
Zay kitayibzacha subsahara.
Brandon zazamiza kitayibzach absahara. Abiya whoops.
Brandon was zazamiza kitayibzacha wabsahara.
Da, sa zazamiza kitayibzacha subsahara.
Now, Brandon, tell me, of course I speak Chinese.
The which sa kitayibzacha subsahara.
Wow. Look at you guys. You guys are talking to each other. You're having real conversations. I'm impressed. You guys must have an amazing teacher. Yamiz. Wa sitimdeji harpibzacha wabsahara.
Anta sa sitimdeji harbibzibcha subsahara.
Sitimdeji harpibzacha wabsahara. Yijibsto harpibzacha wabsahara.
Hawa sa Egyptstu adigabzacha subsahara.
Yijibsto adigabzacha wabsahara. Wajipar sitimdeji harpibzacha wabsahara. You told a lie.
Oh, I thought I was saying I speak it all the time. I do it at home. That's why.
But you don't. So if you speak 100% of the time, that would mean that you speak no language.
Okay. I see.
Right. So I thought you were an honest man. I thought, let me down. Let me down.
I was joking. I like joking, like you and your son. So.
Ah, okay, cool. Okay, George.
Sejansi.
What? Quadra adigabzatsawo psashra.
How unfortunately Sarkam dawa say unfortunately.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Keep going.
Sa quadra adgabzacha subsasharkam.
Okay, give me a second.
Sijahwa zarakhunshi. Okay.
Sijahwa zarakhunshi.
Zarakhunshi. Okay. So does that mean well, C is my anger? Oh, okay. My anger, how it exists.
I don't know how to say anger. Inal, how would you translate jal по-русски?
Jal is like shame. No?
That's stid.
Give me a
It's
second.
not anger, but it's like I'm
It's more like regret.
Regret. My
Yeah.
regret. No, it's.
I meant shame as in it's a shame. Okay, yeah. Not as in, yeah.
Okay, so
not as in shameful. Yeah.
Anger / regret. So yeah, in Russian, jal is regret.
It's like I regret it. Like it's a shame, not shame as in shameful, but like as in it's a shame.
It's a shame, yeah. But in
exactly
Circassian, jal also means anger.
How about pity?
It's not anger. It's not pity. So yeah, jal, yeah. It doesn't translate well. So this is it's a little tough. There's a lot of stuff here, but sijahwa zarakhunshi. Okay. So, but let's this is a good point. Let me dwell on this for a minute. C means mine. I think we've covered this. Everyone feels comfortable with this, right? Mine. Okay. Inal, I know you read Cyrillic really well. What does hun mean?
Good.
What is it?
Or okay, all right, normal.
No, hun means exists.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Hun means to exist. Okay. And berzej, do you know what the prefix zerre means when it's in front of a verb?
Like to become existing, or like
no. So if I were to say, how do I say that? Ardawa zerejus anur. How do I write that? Ardawa zerestinur. How do I write that? Zerre means how it's done. How it's done. Okay. So I can't translate this exactly, but zerkhunchi, how it exists. So my regret, how it exists. Unfortunately. Inal, к сожалению. It's exactly, it's the perfect translation. К сожалению. Regretfully. Yeah. But the pieces of it is zerkhunchi. Okay. So anyways, Inal.
Tajanti.
Wa sitandeji kita yibzach awapsashara.
How kita yibzach zay subsatla.
Zay wapsatlarkam? Wa zazamiza? Wa zazamiza wara sibzach awapsashara.
Sa si unam urasibzacha sitam deji subsatla.
Wow, wa we wunam sitam deji wara sibzach awapsashara.
How arpeshkum sa urasibzachi zazamiza subsatla.
Wa we wunam zazamiza wara sibzach awapsashara. Sitna wash bzach awapsashara wa we wunam.
Si unam zazamiza adghabzachi subsatla.
Wa we wunam zazamiza yinjilibzach awapsashara. Ahmed.
Sit Janti.
Wa zazamiza we wunam Tagalog bzach'awa psalhera.
Inta zezemiza sa siwinam Tagalog gypsita dopsata.
Wow. What Tagalog bzach'awa psalhera?
Sa zezemiza sopsata.
Wish ala tzukur psalhera Tagalog bzach'a.
Inta hari zezemiza mapsata.
Quadra psalhera. Hama zezemiza.
Hawa quadam.
Quadqam. Arashi zezemiza.
Zezemiza. Janti, can you also say zawara instead of zezemiza?
Zawara means like barely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I never heard that word, zezemiza. So I would have said zawara.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Don't quote me on zawara. It sounds to me like it's barely. Zezemiza is sometimes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Okay. And so I know Ahmed, he's like my brother. His wife is Filipino, so that's why I asked. I'm trying to personalize this for as many people as possible. So Tagalog. Sorry, Tagalog. Thank you. Brandon.
Good.
Wa quadra adigabza chawap safra.
Hawa sa quadra adigabza cha subsarlerkum.
Wa sitem deji kitayibza chawap safra.
Wa sitem deji. Wait, sitam deji. What was it? Het. Sitam deji het. So sarlera.
Kitayibza. Yeah. Wa sitem deji kitayibza chawap safra.
Hawa sa zazamiza kitayibza sub sarlera.
Okay, Juanch. Whoops. So, Zenshawa.
Sit.
Wa ze kitayibza chawap safra.
Nata sa ze kitayibza subsacha.
Wa zazamiza yinjilibza chawap safra. Yeah,
so sa sitam deji yinjalibza subsacha.
Wa sitam deji yinjilibza chawap safra. Wa zazamiza adigabza chawap safra.
Nata sa zazamiza adigabza subsacha.
Yamiz zazamiza kitayibza chawap safra. Sharkum.
Sharkum, sure. But I know he does speak some of them.
But Abiya whoops, ask him.
Yamiz.
Sit.
Okay. Was zazamiza kitayibza wupsacha.
Nta sa zazamiza kitayibza subsacha.
Wow. Wa quadra wupsacha.
Hawa wa quadra kitayibza subsacha.
Awastami zazamiza kitayibza wupsacha. Ara.
Nta.
Arash.
Nta.
Upso. Dua.
Sit.
Wa zazamiza harpibza wupsacha.
Inta sa subsacha zazamiz. Zazamiza. Mopsacha.
Harpibza?
What's that again?
Arabic.
Nta.
What do you think I'm asking you?
I know you asked I was a bit confused. You asked if I spoke in Arabic.
Yes, I ask you if you sometimes speak in Arabic.
Okay. So inta sa subsaha zazame
Zazamiza.
Harab. Let me try to say it again. Harabsa mopsaha.
Okay. Harap. Harap. Repeat after me. Harap.
Harap.
Wuris.
Wuris.
Russian. Wuris. Harap.
Oh.
Arab.
Arabic. Okay.
Turk. Turkish. Harapibza.
Harapibza.
The Arabic language.
Oh, that's the language. Okay. Harapibza.
Turkibza.
Turkibza.
The Turkish language. Adigabza.
Adigabza.
The Circassian language. Okay. Harapibzacha in the Arabic language.
Okay.
Okay.
So okay.
Wa zazamiza harapibzacha wopsashara.
Nta sa subsaha harapibsach zezeme.
Everyone give a round of applause.
What so?
So was Brandon, you have a question?
Yeah, I guess I wanted to ask Yamiz something then, but so would I say Yamiz wa het kitayebzecha wabsashlera?
What are you trying to ask?
To whom do you speak kitayebzecha?
Wachat kitayebzecha wuripsashara.
Wuripsashlera. Wachet kitayebzecha wuripsashlera. Yamiz.
Sa nibjagwam.
Nibzawam. Nibzawam. Friends. Also, Yamiz studied in China for some period of time as well. So.
Cool. What's up?
Okay. So is Hola.
Say Jonty.
Wa sitamdeji kitayibzacha wopsatra.
Hawa. Sa ze yita kitayibzacha sobsatharkam. Actually, sobsatha.
Pej wopsatra. I never speak in. We don't use double negatives, right? Sa zazamiza yinjilibzacha subsatra.
Hawa. Actually, nta sa sazamiza yinjanibzacha sobsatha.
Wa pej wa yinjilibzacha wopsatra zazamiza sichhacha wa Canada ushopso. Wa Canada ushopso. You live in Canada. Sa janti sa zazamiza yinjilibzacha subsatra. I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Nta sa sazamiza yinjanibzacha wopsatha.
Okay. So I'm asking you if I, Jonty, speak, but you're telling me that you speak Ola.
Yeah, I should have said wa. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure you get the concept. But you're doing great. You're doing great. Okay. Albert.
Yes.
Wa quadra what is subzach wopsatra?
Oh, so they would have said that that's a
Was they yinjilibzach wopsatra?
Quadra injilibzach subsatra, yeah.
Wow. Sarah zazamiza what is subzach upsatra? سؤالكم أبي whoops. أبي whoops.
Sarah, where are you?
Sit Albert.
What in literature? What there's a miser whoops after.
انت سا انجلبزت زمزة سبساتلا.
Wow, was as a miser yinjilibzich a whoopsatha. Sarah, what quadra harapibzich a whoopsathra?
كوادرا انت سا حرببزت سبساتلا كوادرا.
Wow, berzej zazamiza harapibzich a psathra. How do we say I don't know?
أرقم.
Sharkum. So Abi whoops, ask him.
برزج و حرببزج مبساتلا كوادرا. مبساتلا.
زمزة حرف بزتشا سوبساتلا.
Wa zazamiza harapibzich a whoopsatha. What sitim deji what a sibzich a whoopsathra.
هو سا زي ورسب بزتشا سوبساتلا.
We wouldn't quasher ziwar zreja zazamiza what a sibzich a psathra.
R quadra R quadra ورسب بزتشا مبساتلا.
Pej ar quadra what a sibzich a mapsatha. Nur.
Janti.
Was zazamiza we telephonum cha wujawra.
How انت said زمزة تليفون السجاب.
I asked him if he plays on his phone a lot because I saw him with his phone. What
battery?
Yeah, sure, whatever. What zazamiza harapibzicha whoopsashra.
انت زمزة حربت بزتشا صوب ساشا.
Was sitim deji what a sibzicha whoopsashra.
زيز وربسجا صوب ساشا.
Was zay what a sibzicha whoopsashrqam. Pez. Okay, so this is oh wow, somebody wants to come into maybe somebody got kicked out. So this is the same content as we covered last time, but completely different format. How are people feeling about this approach to playing with the verb? Feeling comfortable with it?
Yes, I feel comfortable.
So the reason, I see your question, George. The reason I'm taking this approach, I said this in the Saturday class, 99% of you speak some Circassian. 50% of you speak a lot of Circassian. 100% of you, outside of George maybe, are shy about speaking because you're worried about making mistakes. And the reason for that is, and this is wrong, Circassian native speakers will often make fun of people who make mistakes. And those mistakes come from all these little verbal prefixes. I know most of you guys know a ton of vocabulary. You know your nouns, you know the root verbs, you know your adjectives, right? You know all those things. Where you struggle and you make some mistakes, or where you're still learning, is with all these little prefixes. So what I plan to do in the next semester, we're going to do, it is TPRS. It's not adapted TPRS. There's no such thing as adapting it, right? TPRS works. But we're going to go a little bit deeper into the verbs. So we're going to tell the story, but every time we hit a verb, in TPRS, they go through the W questions: who, what, why, where, when. All those forms of the verb change in Circassian. So we're going to go through all those different forms of the verb, and then we're going to go back to the story. And that's going to allow you guys to build a super, super, super strong, confident level of confidence in your base vocabulary so that as we continue, if you continue, and I hope you guys all do, if we continue to go deeper down this rabbit hole, because we're going to cover so many different types of verbs, you're going to get a super level of comfort with all these different types of verb prefixes. And there's nothing we're going to throw at you that's going to phase you. Already, you guys are picking it up. Sahwish, safafsh, subsathra, subsathafra, subsathama, subsathafma. You guys are already picking up. It's already building that mental map in your brains without you guys even thinking about it. So that's why I'm taking this approach. George, you have a question?
Yeah, it was more like to answer your own question. So this, I'm a bit shy to say it because it might be an unpopular opinion, but personally, I found this class, well, it was really good and all, but I thought it was like sometimes it was getting a bit long for me, like and a bit repetitive with the verbs because you were asking about the verbs. I know, like, I'm not sure how everyone else felt about it. Maybe I'm a weirdo, which I know I am, but yeah. So I found it a little bit long sometimes compared to the previous classes, especially the one where we did Khuzub Sashla and everything. I thought that was a good challenge. But yeah, otherwise it was a really good class, and you know, it's our last one, which is really, I mean, last one for this year, which is a really special moment, and you know, I really like that. I liked that aspect too. You don't have, you know, it's fine if it was a little bit longer. It's okay.
Okay. Inal, you have a question or a comment?
Comment. Just to counter George's, I do find that sometimes it takes a bit too long to get through everybody to answer the questions, but that's understandable given the group size. I do, however, every time we go around, I mute myself and I try to answer on everyone's behalf just to get that practice going for me. I do want to say that compared to last week's class, the pace of this one is much, much better. Last week's class, it felt a little too fast-paced, too many different variations of the verb at once. So this time, I think it was much, much better than last time.
Okay. Anybody else have any direct feedback on this class, the content, the style, the pace, the repetitions? Okay, so go ahead, Brandon.
Well, I guess if nobody else is, then I wanted to ask you, Janti, because I don't think you ever addressed this, but if you were thinking of going into more of a long form answer as well. So from what I can remember, for example, Janti Adigebzacha Shanti Adigebzacha Psala, and then Ola Heri Bibzipcha. Yeah, Ola Hadigibzipcha Heri Bibzipcha Mapsashla, and then just so forth and so on, just trying to list off as many things as you could.
Yeah. So yeah, that is where I'm going. My goal with the new, so let's talk a little bit about what's coming up in next semester. In next semester, what we've done is we've created a new story, and that story takes all the major verbs that are super useful in Circassian in a cultural sense. It takes all those verbs, and we have a little bit of dialogue between characters that are in the story. And there's always a question form of the verb, and there's always an answer form of the verb. And you know, we didn't get so much into like what your character is doing. The way the TPRS works is we try to get you to understand the story, because if you understand the story, you have something very stable that you can grab onto, and then the language becomes easy, right? So if we didn't get a chance to do it today, and we didn't get that far into the story, but if I were to ask you to tell me something about the story, right, you could, all of you, I have zero doubt this is a true statement. All of you could say, there's a boy named George. I'm sorry, there's a boy named Nart. He is Circassian. He speaks Circassian. Jonty is a robot. He sometimes speaks Russian. Like any single one of you could go. And if I asked any one of you, tell me about Ahmed, right? you could think about, because the story has been built in your mind. Now that the story is built in your mind, it gets very easy for you to drop grammar rules and vocabulary to describe that story to me. You're not struggling on 2 dimensions, you're struggling on 1 dimension. So in the next course that we open up, my intention is to create, we'll spend a lot of time with the first 2 or 3 slides, with the first 2 or 3 verbs. But once we get that all well and good, then the goal is to move on, Brandon, TPRS terminology, to manageable chunks, right? And for people to start to describe the situation, which are core to TPRS. We didn't get to that now because this verb has so much complexity. But as I explained to my Saturday class, right, let me give you guys an example. Psechen, to speak. A couple of classes ago, we covered the verb cheten, to fly. Sesopsacha, I speak. Sesochata, I fly. Wowopsacha, you speak. Wowochata, you fly. Ar mapsacha, he speaks. Ar machata, he flies. So by building comfort with these verb forms, as we go deeper into the story, it's going to get a lot easier for you guys to say, my character is the magician, and the magician's able to fly. Jonty's a robot. He's able to fly. George is a Terminator. Terminators do not fly, right? As we go deeper into the story, you guys, you guys are going to be able to say all those things. What I've experimented with here is getting you guys super comfortable with being, because in English, it's easy. I fly, you fly, he flies, 1 letter. I do not fly, you do not fly, he does not fly. Simple. Here, it gets super complicated. So the goal is to build you guys a level of comfort around 3, 4, 5 verbs. Those 3, 4, 5 verbs are very strategically selected to represent the verb forms of most of our verbs. And then once you get the structure in your brain, the first 2, 3, 4, 5 classes will be slow, but the next 4, 5, 6 classes are going to be super fast, not because I'm pushing you, but because you guys are getting it. So Brandon, did I answer your question?
Yes. Então,
okay, so in the upcoming semester, I think I asked this before, but I forget, so forgive me. Does 6:30 Eastern time, 3:30 Western time on Mondays and Wednesdays, does that work? Does that not work for anyone?
Doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for me on Mondays.
Mondays
doesn't work for me.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do is build a 50-hour course. All the classes will be recorded, right? But I'm trying to do one for North America. I'm trying to do one for Eurasia. Behind the scenes, I don't think any of you guys know this, I'm also translating all these materials to the Western dialect. I haven't found anybody who wants to teach the Western dialect. So next fall, I'm going to experiment with teaching the Western dialect as well. So I'm trying to scale myself as much as I can, but 50 hours for you guys is 100 hours of teaching for me. And it's probably another 30 hours of content development behind the scenes. So that's the best I can do. We will record everything. We're also going to start using this marketing automation platform. I've got my offshore assistant who's a godsend, who's helping with a lot of this stuff. So what I'm planning on doing is the new semester will open up the 2nd week of January. So for you guys, that would be Monday, the 1st week of January, Monday, January 3rd, right? That'll be the first class. The second class would be Wednesday, January 5th. And then what I'm going to do is in my time zone, I'll wake up really early and I'll teach in the morning, my time, before my workday begins, which will be evening time for people in Istanbul or Moscow time zones, which are the same time zones, or anybody who's in a different time zone. We have some people in Qatar, Dubai, places like that. So that kind of covers that. We've created a Discord server. Either Ola or Rinal, can either of you guys just drop that into the chat so people can see it? And can I rely on one of you guys to give everybody like a really quick, actually, I don't want this to go out to the masses yet, so I'm going to shut off the recording. So great class, everyone. Bye.